Hi, this time I am going to talk about something that is crucial in order for players to actually roleplay and achieve immersion in tabletop role-playing games, of course. I call it the hurry up and wait concept in RPGs. This is quite easy to understand for many situations, but when it comes to roleplay, I think it is vital because sometimes players could make mistakes, they could start to go out of character, they would feel the pull of messing up and asking questions out of character because of a very simple thing. Perhaps some of you watched that video that I shared like about a month ago, month and a half. In that video, it was Wyatt Earp, in his own words, giving tips and advice on how to survive gunfights. And he said something that I completely agree with, at least when it comes to physical confrontations. And it's that you should take your time. This sounds a bit nonsensical, right? Imagine in a gunfight, you need to be fast, you need to be quick in the Wild West, quick draw, shoot, and shoot with precision. But he said that every time he saw someone that was focusing on being fast and not thinking things through first, they always ended up dead. Because if you completely focus on being fast, you're going to be almost fumbling for your gun and you're about to shoot, but you didn't think who you were going to shoot, where you were going to shoot at. But if you take that millisecond, that fraction of a second, to think, I want to shoot, I just killed two enemies, right? Because I took your time, as he said it, in that fraction of a second to come up with an insanely fast plan. So if he wanted to kill two opponents in front of him, and remember, this is Wyatt Earp, just take a look at the shooting at the OK Corral, one of the more famous battles in the Wild West. The shootouts, one of the greatest shootouts. The gunfight or the shooting at OK Corral, I have heard it called in different ways. They were outnumbered and they were somewhat out in the open. So they had all of the disadvantages against them. And I think only 3 people got injured from the 4 protagonists of that fight in real life. Only 3 of them got slightly injured and the enemies ended up dead. Well, 2 of them got away. I don't remember. Yes, it was Ike Clanton. Ike Clanton got away in a very cowardly way, of course. Don't shoot me, I have no gun. And then he started to shoot from when they gave him a chance to run away. He went into a saloon or a building nearby that is verified, look for it in history, and he started to shoot at them. A lot of people thought that it was fictional. In the movie Tombstone, you see Ike going into the saloon, down into this building where they were taking pictures, and he started to shoot at Wyatt's group. And some thought that it was fiction, but he actually started to shoot at them in the real situation. But Wyatt Earp never got injured because he always, in none of his gunfights, he never got injured. He always took his time. He thought first. Think before you act. Think before you act. And he was always victorious. So when it comes to roleplay, before anything else, think. Don't try to blurt out your character's actions or describing your character's actions without thinking things through. The mind is so powerful. Sometimes you think that seconds have transpired here outside of your mind, but your thought process is so fast. Like in a physical confrontation, as a martial artist, I can tell you that you start to think many things, but it's a different mindset altogether. It happens so fast, and you amaze yourself as to how you came up with strategies, plans in a second, almost instinctively, and not a single second has passed during that time. It's like when they say that time slows down. So in roleplay, take your time. Let's say that you are playing a Wild West, like a paranormal Wild West game, and you are moving through this haunted mine, and suddenly the game master says, you hear this deafening noise, and you look to your right as you see this minecart propelled at you. Now, someone that doesn't take their time to react, and I don't mean that you should play slow, no, I mean they don't take their time, they're going to be like, oh, I'm going to do, can my character like dodge and move to the side? Okay, what is the exact, what is the exact distance between the minecart and my character? Take your time, and you could say something like, I duck and roll to my left side and try to get up as quickly as possible. Then you make your roll, or maybe it's an automatic success, depending on how you handle things. But you take your time. You take your time, and you achieve roleplay. You achieve immersion through roleplay. You are now within that world, just because you took your time. So when it comes to role-playing, remember that when you are describing your actions, you don't need to hurry up and blurt it out. Once you are reacting to something, like the minecart, and you start to say, I duck and I roll. You see, I am not exactly speaking really fast. I could say, I duck and roll to the left side and try to get up as quickly as possible. No. I duck and roll to my left side and try to get up as quickly as possible. You are already describing the action. So take your time when role-playing. Do not blurt things out. Mistakes could happen. Now that I think about it, you may remember in my second part of the Super Smash Bros. Campaign, when Alberto, Tyler, and Ryan were going through this very intense sequence, jumping across the clouds and through different disappearing platforms, and rockets were being shot at them from below, and there were these like metallic eagles shooting metallic feathers at them, and Ryan was in a very precarious situation. His character, Elroy the Mouse, was standing in this cloud, and suddenly he had to make this roll to avoid the incoming rocket, and he was approaching this vertical tube-like structure, and he also had to be mindful of the metallic eagles. So you could see that maybe that's why he asked that question in that moment. He got caught in the heat of the moment, and he couldn't take his time, and so he was like, what is the exact? And that's what we, unfortunately, we patched up the situation, and after that he never asked a question out of character. But I think that was the main cause. It was so gut-wrenching. That moment was so gut-wrenching that he almost like blurted that out because he had to take his time. He forgot to take his time in describing the action. So yes, that's my general tip. Whenever you roleplay, take your time. Think things through. You won't be stalling, you won't be messing up the tempo or the pace of the session. Those that are not role-playing, they mess up the tempo and the session, the rhythm, because they are asking out of character questions, they are laughing, they are doing all sorts of things that have nothing to do with roleplay. Those are the people that stall the session. But if you take your time to describe your character's actions, that's perfect. In the Dark and Terrible campaign, take a look at Crispy and Josh, one of the greatest role players that I have met. When battle happens, they're always like, I take my crossbow and hide it behind my cloak. It's a bit slow. They're taking their time to describe. In the case of Crispy, a similar situation, right? In the first session, as I am ducking, I go into a half roll to the side and quickly get up and attack with my sword. As simple as that. So yes, I hope this video was useful and entertaining. Let me know your own thoughts on this. As always, thank you for your likes and your comments, and thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.